All right, we'll be starting soon. Just waiting for a few people to join, and then I'm going to start the lesson soon. Right, grade 12. Welcome back to Case Simplified channel. I know some provinces they have started their examination. Those who are rewriting will also do it next week, Tuesday, and then other provinces will also be starting next week. So this weekend is going to be very busy weekend, whereby we are going to revise paper 1, and then we'll be looking at different tips, what you should do, especially when you get a question paper. Where must you start, and what sort of questions you should be expecting? Right, so we are going to begin with Microsoft Word today. Tomorrow we will be talking about spreadsheet, and then on Sunday we will be dealing with database, and then Monday we will wrap up with the HTML and then solve so many questions. So I have with me here the scope, or I would say the topic outline regarding Microsoft Word that you should be expecting. And then I shared this document the other time. Right, now when it comes to Microsoft Word, things that you should be expecting, mostly Microsoft Word, the entire question paper will be out of 50 for grade 12. Then spreadsheet will also be out of 50. If you combine all the questions, database will be 35, and then HTML, the remaining 15 marks. Right, now, Microsoft Word, what are some of the questions that you should be expecting? The first part is the file and then layout. Now, the layout option, that is where they will ask questions about the margins, the orientation, the paper size, the columns, section break, line numbers, hyphenation, and advanced page layout options. So layout, they will ask, and break, section break, and other column breaks and others, they will ask questions on that. Then again, styles, how to create a style, modify a style, and then also apply a style on different headings. Then multi-level list or outline list, creating and then customizing multi-level list. Then paragraph settings, you get questions also on paragraph settings, which involves line and then paragraph space, bullet and numbering, and then also other options like keep lines together, page break before, widow and often, and others. Right. Then also under the paragraph setting, we also have indentation. You can also have indent. So you have to expect questions also like that. And then we also have find and replace, basic find and replace, as well as the complex find and replace questions. Using symbols, using images, changing other characters, manual line break, and other, the special find and replace. And then also citation, source, and bibliography. For grade 12, we should expect such questions also regarding Microsoft Word. Then forms. and templates, how to create and modify forms using developer tab, then how to do calculations also in forms. So we'll look at that as well. And then integration and links concept, which involve the hyperlink, bookmark, cross-reference, index, and others. All of them are under the integration and then different links. Then still under the integration and different links, we also have fields, inserting a field or object or quick paths. That involves inserting date so that it will update automatically, the author, the date modifier, and others, and also importing or integrating other files from different formats into Microsoft Word by using what we call the paste special options. Then we also have the font group, which involves changing font type, font size, font effect, and character spacing. Whatever character spacing as well, whereby you'll be asked to change expanded, or also you can also be given a question that talks about raise or expanded spacing. And then section break. Also, you must know how to insert a section break, which involves maybe putting watermark on a specific page or using section break to start page numbering from a certain page. Yeah, so basically section break that involves dividing the pages so that you can format them in different ways. And then we also have watermark on a specific page, like I just mentioned, and then inserting normal watermark. Then also inserting watermark with a symbol, customizing watermark as a symbol. Then drop cap, inserting drop cap. Then we also have the text, stop using ruler settings, page numbers, odd and even pages, then columns, and then images, tables, how to create a table and do calculations also in tables. Then we also have the table of contents, footnote, endnote, and then table of figures. Table of figures, and then also caption. Right. So you should know how to insert table of content, how to insert captions, footnote, endnote, and then even when it is footnote, you need to also know different ways of using advanced footnote. We will look at that. Then mail merge, which is mostly question 7, and then forms. So basically, these are the topics you should know: image manipulations and then other topics. So these are the topics that you should know regarding Microsoft Word, which constitute 50%. So as grade 12 learner for June examination, you should make sure that you have practiced all these questions. Now let's start with practicing these questions. We are going to focus on different question papers with Microsoft Word, and then I'll try to touch most of the questions today. Right. Please, you must let me know if the audio is fine and then the visuals are also fine. And then if you also have any question, like because today is revision discussion, if you have any question regarding the topics that we are going to discuss today, don't forget to type it, or maybe let me see your under the comment section, and then I'll address everybody's concerns today. Right. So I have with me here the first question, which I'm going to use prep question paper. So I'll be using different provinces, their question papers. Sorry for that. I wanted to address people's issues here. Right. Now, let's start with the first question paper from this is Limpopo question paper 2022. Limpopo question paper 2022. So I'm going to start with the first question, which is one victims. You can also find it, the data files that I shared the last time. You can find these data files also there with the 2022. When you go to SirAntwi Papers, Microsoft Word, you will see these data files. Now, one victims. Now, the first question says, apply and narrow margins to the document. So let's open one victims. And then the question says we should apply and narrow margins. Right now, the tips, as grade 12 learner, when you are writing your paper, you must use the easiest way of solving any question. Like I said, those of you using the 365 and others, you can make use of the search. Even the other versions, you can also do that by typing the keyword. So here, if I'm looking for margins, I type margins, adjust margins, then I will see narrow. Alternatively, if you want to go through the long process, you can also achieve that by using the ruler settings. Double click anywhere inside the ruler. It's going to give you the margins, paper, and then layout. So you go to the margins, then you change the margin if the question is asking for a specific margin. If it's not there also, here we only have the mirror margins. So the narrow, you will not find it at this point. It is only when you are changing the margins. Now, to get that margin, you go to layout, margins, then you see narrow. So we have the normal, the narrow one, the moderate, the wide, and then the mirror. That is where you can find it. But if you want to change to a specific margin, make use of the ruler settings, double click is going to give you the margins. At the same time, you can solve questions regarding the paper size and then also the layout, which we are going to make use of the ruler settings to solve more questions today. Now, the second question also says, apply the word style to the main heading. So here we are applying a style to this heading. So you select it from the home tab, you see the styles and the existing styles will be there. So you just click on it. Then the next question also says, locate the paragraph that starts with the World Day of Remembrance and ends with ways to halt it. Apply automatic hyphenation to this paragraph. Now, this is the paragraph. So the question says we should apply automatic hyphenation to this paragraph. So whenever you are dealing with paragraph or solving questions regarding paragraph, you don't need to select it. It is mostly font that you have to select. So paragraph, just click inside that paragraph. And then you can now apply the paragraph settings, whether you go to paragraph and then you click on it, or alternatively, you can use the paragraph settings. You just type paragraph from the search tool. Now, let's check the question again. It says automatic hyphenation. So now, also now this keyword, you can just type the hyphenation. Always use the keyword hyphen. So when you type the keyword, this is when maybe in examination, you don't know where to go. So automatic hyphenation. Then it will be applied there. Otherwise, when you go to the layout, you see hyphenation, then you set the automatic. Now, so layout, you'll find the hyphenation automatic. Now, sometimes they can ask you to change the hyphen option. So you go there and they can ask you to limit consecutive hyphens to a specific number. So let's say it says limit consecutive hyphens to 3, then you click on it. So that one, you won't get it from the search tool. You just have to go to layout, hyphen, and then you go to hyphenation options. Right, now the next question. It says add a bookmark called accident to the word crashes, highlighted with a yellow in the third paragraph. So the bookmark name is called accident. And now when we talk about the bookmark, we mean the target location. So we go to the yellow highlighted crashes. Now we are going to add bookmark to this one. So we can just select or just go there and say insert bookmark. You can go to home and say bookmark. Then you type the bookmark name called accident, and then you click on add. So this place has been named as what accident. Now with this, we can create a hyperlink to this position, and that is how bookmark works. The next question, 1.5, add the current date in the header section of the page. The date should automatically update each time the document is open. So now the header section of the page, we must add the current date. Now you can choose any page, double click on the header section. It's going to open the header and then the footer section for you. Now with this header section that you have inserted, then you will have header and footer. So here we have header, footer, page number. You can insert page number there. Date and time, document info. You can insert different document information. Quick path. You can insert a field. And then so many things here that you can add. We can also get a question whereby they say the header from top, the position for the header for the top, you can change it also from the header. Right now, the question wants us to insert date and time. So we choose date and time. And then we take update automatically. Sometimes they can ask you a question to choose a specific format that is available here. And then we take update automatically so that tomorrow when you come back, the date will change automatically. Right. Now let's move on to the next question. That says manual line breaks. That's the soft enter. That's another name. Were used to separate some of the paragraphs in the document. Use find and replace to replace all the manual line breaks in the document with a paragraph mark. Right. Now, this type of question is a special type of find and replace. Now, how do you see the soft enter? We can see soft enter if you activate show or hide from the paragraph group, which sometimes we call it the paragraph mark. You can see some of the soft enter. This is one of the soft enter. The soft enter is like L. Here, this one. So sometimes the question will tell you to remove the soft enter. So this is what we call the soft enter. So if the question says remove a soft enter, you need to activate show or hide so that you can now remove the soft enter. Right. Now, this is not what the question wants us to do. According to the question, we should find all the occurrences of the soft enter, and then we replace with the paragraph mark. And this is also called the paragraph mark. Right. Now, so we go to find and replace. I always tell learners that please, first of all, whenever you are doing find and replace, you must go to replace straight away. Replace, or you can just use the search and type replace. So here we can just use replace from editing. Now it gives you find what and then replace with. Now where it says find what, you go to more. So in this case, what are we finding? We are finding soft enter. So all those in the like soft enter, hard space, and all of them, we can find them under special. So you go to special, and then we look for manual line break. So we have so many things here: tab character, any digit, column break, M dash, N dash. You can get a question that says change M dash to N dash and the rest. So here we are going to change manual line break. So we click on it, and then we are going to replace. So we go to replace with special. Then we are replacing with paragraph mark, this one. So we are replacing all the manual line breaks with the paragraph mark. Then you click on replace all. So we got 4 replacement. You can see here that there was soft enter. Now it has changed to paragraph mark. So that's how this works. So all the manual line break has been changed to the soft enter, or the soft enter has been changed to the paragraph mark. Right. Let me check again from the comment section. If there's no comment, then I will proceed. Yeah, somebody's asking, will Limpopo exam be the same as the Free State? Basically, the topics are the same. The topics are the same. That is why we are trying to touch. I will touch Free State, Northwest, Eastern Cape, Western Cape. All the question papers, I will try to touch them. Basically, the topics are the same. Thank you. Right, the next question says, set a proofing language of all the text in the document to English South Africa. Like here, we can also use proofing language, and all of them are under what we call review. They are part of the review. So when you go to review, you will see spelling and grammar. You will see thesaurus. You will see word count. You also see accessibility, the language, the comment. If you get a question that says insert a comment, you will find it under review. Then we also see the all markup. If you want to comment and track changes, compare, combining 2 documents together, protect, edit, restrict editing, you find them under review. Now the question is talking about the language. So we have to set a language. So you go to language from the review, and there's a set language. Then English South Africa should be set. Right, now, alternatively, you can get it from search. You just say language. Then it's going to give you set proofing language. Then it will take you straight to that place, and then you will set it. Now you can see here, we have Afrikaans. We have so many languages there. Now it says it should be English language, right? So you set it as default one, so that all of them have English language. Right, now we move straight to the next question. Find the text Remembrance Day and add a footnote to this text as follows. The footnote must contain let's honor them, and then the hashtag as a custom symbol. Now, how do we insert footnote? I will do more than what the question requires here, so that you will understand it when you are watching the video again. Now, the question says we must find the text. Let me remove the paragraph mark. Say we must find the text Remembrance Day and add a footnote. Here is it. So we are going to add a footnote to this text. Do not select the text. You click just after the text, and then the footnote, you can get it from references. Then you see footnote, endnote. Then there's an arrow here. That's the one you click on it so that it will give you more options. So I click on footnote and endnote. Now, please watch out for these, my grade 12s. Whenever you are inserting footnote and then endnote, bottom of the page, in most cases, this is the default one, but you can also insert a footnote below the text. They can ask a question of that nature to be below the text. Again, the same as the endnote. It's not only end of the document. We also have end of the section. So you can insert endnote as end of section and then footnote to be at the bottom of the page or below text. So like this question didn't tell us, so we choose the default one. Now look at this also. I've seen that most examiners these days are focusing on this. That is the footnote layout. Now the footnote layout, let's say you have 2 or 3 footnotes inserted, then you want to put them as a column. So you can have 2 columns, 3 columns, or 4 columns. You can have so many columns here. So this question didn't say anything, so you can choose the default one. And then the custom mark, or they can ask you to choose a symbol. So here the custom mark should be hashtag. So here you use the hashtag as the footnote. And then you click here, numbering. They can also ask whether it should restart each section or each page, and then applies to the whole document. Then you go to insert. Now, the moment you click on insert, you will see the hashtag there. Please, you are not supposed to type the text before the symbol that you have inserted. You'll be penalized. In other words, they won't give you the mark. You must click just after the hashtag and then you insert your footnote. So here is just one column. And according to the question, the text should be, let's honor them. So you type the text. Now, if you type it before the hashtag, it is wrong. You will be penalized. It should be after. So this is like 4 columns. Now, let's say I have another footnote. The same thing, the same page. Then I have another footnote. There's another one message whereby we have 2 columns. And then you go to insert. So this is where the 2 columns will be. So you can apply 2 or 3 or 4 footnotes on one particular text. So let's honor them like this. And then there's another one here that you can type. They are our heroes. Then you can add another one. So depending on the columns that you place them. So basically, one footnote, one text, then we apply 2 footnotes on them. So when you go there, you can see 2 hashtags. The first one says, let's honor them. If you put your mouse pointer on the second one, it will read the second part also. So please watch out for this type of questions whereby you have to insert footnote as a column. So that is how we do that type of question. Now, still under footnote, you can convert a footnote to endnote just by right-clicking, and then you will see convert to endnote. So if you want this footnote to be converted to endnote, you can do that as well. Then it will be on the last page. Right. The next question. Find the citation victims at the end of the 4th paragraph and edit the source of the citation as follows. Adding the corporate author of the report as UN, and then the year must be 2021. So here the citation was already inserted for us, the 4th paragraph. So here is it. Now this citation, they want us to edit it. You can do so by going to the source. You just type source manager. And then you see the source here. Then you click on edit so that you can make changes to the citation. Or alternatively, remember you can get the source also from reference, and then you go to manage source. Then you edit it. Or alternatively, from the citation, there is an arrow here. You click on it, and then you see edit source. And then there is also edit citation. When you are editing citation, it only gives you a chance to suppress or you add a page number for that citation. And then if you're editing the source, it will take you straight to the source, and then you can make changes to it. So here we type UN, and then the year should be 2021. Then you click OK. Right. So basically, this is how we edit a source and then also add new source. Now, if you have to add a new source given to you, you go to manage source, then you click on new, then you can add the type of source. So basically, this is how we add the bibliography or the references to our documents. Right. Now, the 1.10, the paragraph in the document are numbered. Format the paragraph 5 and 6 respectively to have the same indentation as the first numbered. Now, they are already numbered 5 and 6, and they say we must have the same indentation. Now, this one, we have to check the indentation of this. This is the second paragraph. They say 5 and 6. We must have the same indentation as the rest. So what you do is you can make use of what we call the format painter, or alternatively, you can check the rest, their indentation, like the first one. We can see the indentation is at 1 for the numbers, and then here is left indent at 2.5. Now 5 here is also 2.5. I think this question was solved. The only part that is not indented is this 2. So now if you want to apply the format painter, you click on it. Then let's say you apply on this, so that they will be formatted the same as the others. They will have the same indentation as the rest. Right. So basically, if I go here and I click format painter, then I come and apply it to 5 and 6. It's still the same because it's the same indentation. So I think this question, the other ones were the ones that were not indented. So you just have to use format painter. So anytime you get a question that says should be the same as the others, make use of format painter. Right. Now I move straight to the next question, 1.11. Find the text document created in paragraph 9. Insert a field next to the text to display the date the document was created. Now we want the date the document was created. It's a date created, so we are going to replace this one. Let's check whether the question says it should be replaced or it should be next to it. Find the text. Insert a field next to the text to display. Okay, here it says next to the text. So we click here. Now, how do we insert a field? Now, look at the question. The question says format it, insert a field. Now, the question wants us to insert a field. So the key word here is a field. Now, if you don't know, you ask yourself in examination, what is field? Where can I find field? Now, basically, the question says insert a field. So we go to insert field. You can get it under the quick path. It's part of this one here. That's the quick path. And then you see field. Right. Alternatively, you can use the search and say field you type the keyword called field, then you see insert a field. It will take you straight away there. And now here, the question says the date created. So there are so many fields: the author name, the barcode, the citation, the create date, the database, the date, properties, file name, file size. You'll find all of them there. Now, this question said it should be the create date. I click on it. And then if the question didn't ask you to put a certain format, sometimes they can even tell you to change it to a specific format, like 4D, and then 2D, 4Y, and then MMM, like the date format. But then in most cases, they don't even tell you the format you must use. But now if they give you an example, you need to change the format from that side. You go to field. Now, when you go to date created or create date, if they want a specific format, type it here. When you put 4D, meaning that is going to give you the day written in full. And now, when you have 2 or 2D, that means the day will be written in short, like 30. And then the 4Y, meaning the year, will be written in full. Then if you want to write maybe the month, it's 4M, then it's going to give you also in full. If you don't find the right one here, you can do that. Now, sometimes the question can even tell you to make it to be only the time. You can change the format also. I've seen in most cases, let me undo and show you, most cases whereby the question asks learners to only insert the current date, or maybe the current time, or the time it was created. Now you'll be asking yourself, how do you get the time? You have to go to insert field and you type the time there as the format. If it's not there, HH is the hour, MM is the minute, and then second. So they can give you a specific time format. In this case, they don't want the date. They only want the time. So you type the format there. So please watch out for such type of questions also. We try to touch every aspect so that any question you'll be able to tackle them or answer them. Right, let's move straight to the next question. Locate the text box at the bottom of the page and make the following changes. Copy the content of the text file from one report and paste them inside. Change the border of the text box to 3 pt broken lines. So there's a text box at the end. Here's the text box. Now the question wants us to copy the content from the document called one report. So we open it and then we select, you right click and then you choose copy. They didn't ask you to cut it, so you can't delete anything from there. Then you come to the document, you right click, and then you paste it. So it will be inside this text box. Now, I want to show you something regarding text box as well, because I've seen these days they're asking questions about text box that is more complicated. Let's say this text box is there. And then I also have another text box. There are 2 text boxes. Then we want to create a link to this text box so that they'll become one. You must watch out for such type of questions also. Now, how do we create the link? So basically use the first text box. To create the link, when you click on the text box, you see shape format and then create link. Then it will give you this tooltip. Come and click it on the next text box. So now this text box is linked with this one as well. If I try to narrow or make this one small, the rest of the text will be inside this text box. So it will overflow into this text box. These two are linked together. Right, now the question also asks us to change the shape format, that's the outline. So when I click on the text box, shape outline. Then the question says the weight should be 3 pt. And then ask us for the color. So we can also put the shape color. Then they can also ask you to fill in with any color. So basically, this is how we deal with the text box. You can also deal with the text box by looking at the text directions inside the text box. So you can see here that when I change the text direction, it affects this one also as well. Good. So watch out for these type of questions also, please. Now, we can also rotate it to flip horizontal or flip vertical or rotate 90 degrees. So all under the shape format of the text box. Right, now let's move on to the next question. It says add a watermark to the document as follows. Use the one pick image and then the scale of it should be 200%. Now we need to insert a watermark here. So we go to insert. A watermark is part of design, watermark, or alternatively use the search and type watermark. It's going to give you watermark and then you select custom watermark. Now there's a picture watermark. So we take picture watermark and then we select our picture. So I'm going to click on file and then select my picture. Then I select my picture. That is Limpopo question paper. One pick. And then it says should be 200, the scale. I choose 200. If you don't get the specific scale that the question is requiring you to do, you can type it as well. Right. And then I don't think the question asks us to put any washout. So we can either use washout or we remove it and then apply. So that image will be at the background as our watermark. Right. Still under watermark, we also have another type of watermark called text watermark with a symbol. Now, they started asking that question last year. So basically, my grade 12 this year, you must watch out for this type of questions in your June examination or prep examination. That's how to insert a custom watermark, which is a text watermark. That's a symbol. So first of all, we need to insert the symbol. Insert symbol. So if let's say they want a particular symbol, you go to more symbols, and mostly they ask wingdings. So let's say wingdings, then they will give you the character code, maybe 140 or 240. Right. So when you type the character code, it's going to take you to that character. Right. And then you click on insert. So now you have inserted it here. You need to cut it. Then you cut it. Now, the moment you cut that symbol, then you go to your watermark, custom watermark. And then here, we select text watermark. It's part of text watermark. Then the text, where you see ASAP by default, we paste it. You right click and choose paste. Now, you see the symbol there. But because the symbol is wingdings, you must go to font and change it to wingdings as well. Then the question will ask you what should be the size. Let's say the size will be 250. And then the color, they will specify the color. Then whether it should be diagonal or horizontal, then apply. Let me remove the semi-transparent so that you can see it. So that will be our watermark at the background as a symbol. So basically, this is how we insert a symbol as a watermark. So take note for that type of questions. Right, we move straight to the next question. That talks about, okay, that's all about question 1. Now let's move straight to question 2. That is the properties and then the forms. So I'll open the next question, which is question number 2. But before that, I will check if there's any question. You can ask any question that you want regarding Microsoft Word, and then we will address them today so that you'll be ready for the examination. Right, let me check if there's any question. Still, there's no question, so I can proceed. Now, this is 2 nights. And then the first question says, add the text driving warning to the document subject property. Now, when we are talking about a document subject property or document property, you get it from file, and then you go to info. You are going to see all the properties of the file. Now we have here the file size, the pages, the count of the word, the comment. So they can ask you to change the title or a tag or add a comment to the document. They can also ask you to change the author by adding an author, or they can also ask you to show other properties. So when I go to show all properties, we can have a whole lot of properties, which we call the metadata, additional information of a file, like the status, the subject, the company name, and others. Now, according to the question, it says the subject property. You can only find it under show more properties. Then we type the text under the subject property. Now, according to this question, the subject should be driving warning. So we should type it as the subject. Right. Then we are done. Then the next question also is asking us to edit the cover page of the document as follows. Insert the text, road safety tips as the document title. Restrict a user from changing the author of the document. So now here we must type road safety as the title of the page. So now here is our document. So the document title, we must change it to road safety. Then there's an author here. They say we must restrict editing. Now, so that people cannot make any changes there. And mostly you can get it from developer. You will see restrict editing so that they shouldn't make changes, allow changes. And then you say only filling in the forms or not, no changes. That should be read only to this part. You can do that, or only filling in the forms. Then you restrict it. So we don't want anybody to make changes here. When it's the form, you can fill it. But now here, because it's the form only, this part that we are changing, this type of editing. So you need to only limit formatting to selecting of the style, or here we enforce to make it either filling in the forms, but here they can fill in that property forms. And then again, the comments also. If you do this, you will not be able to edit other things. But now let's check the question again. It says, restrict a user from changing the author of the document. So meaning the author should not be changed. This prof here should not be changed. They can't delete anything there. That's what the question wants to do. So now that one, you can only get it under the properties. Let's go back there and check. If we use the developer restrict editing to be for the entire document. Now this question is talking about only this part that you shouldn't change. So I must just remove this restrict editing. Now let's go to the properties. Again, with the author, that people can make changes to the author. Now, the question is telling us not to change this author. Let's see whether you can change it. If I type an author here, the main author will not be changed there. Yeah, it has been changed to meaning that the prof has been changed. So meaning we need to restrict this editing so that this one will not be changed. This part here will not be changed. Because when you go to this restrict editing, then you say only fill in the form, they'll be able to do it. Then no changes, read only. And then here it says by everyone. If it says show all regions, this user can edit and then find. So here you can just choose the region that they can edit. And then you must only. So this part, everyone, then you must show only the regions. And then you go to start enforcing with OK. So now let's see whether you'll be able, it's still allowing to edit. It's still allowing to edit. Yes, now I'm not supposed to take that part. Let me stop the protection. If you take here, it's going to restrict. So here you are not supposed to take everyone. You might just remove it and then you click on stop enforcing so that you cannot edit this part. Right, now let's check the next question. Remove the page numbers from the table of content and table of figures page. Adjust the page numbering of the document, ensuring that the page number after the table of content and the table of figures page is numbered as 1. So basically here, we need to use what we call the section break. We need to apply the section break. They said we should not put a page number here. Page 1 should not have page number. And the page number should only start from page 2. So when you double click on the page number on page 1, let's verify the question again. It says, remove the page numbers from the table of content page and table of figures page. Adjust the page numbering of the document, ensuring that the page after the table of content, table of figures will start as 1. So meaning the third page, this is page 1, this is page 2. So we should not have page number here. And then now they have already given us the section break. They have given us the section break. So this page should not have a page number. So we can delete this page number. Now, when it comes to page 2, we must start numbering from here. But it still gives us footer section 1, footer section 2. All of them are one section. So meaning we need to insert what we call the section break. And then the section break should be after this page. We are separating page 1 and 2 from the rest of the pages. So we have to put what we call the continuous page break. And then I got messages that continuous page break is always going to give problem. Now, it shouldn't create a new page for you. It should not create a new page for you. So this is page 1. And this is page 2. So I will go to page 2. And then I go to layout, breaks. Then I choose continuous. Why shouldn't you choose next page? Because the next page sometimes it creates additional page for you. So here you choose continuous. Now, how do we say that? When you click on show or hide, it's going to give you section break continuous. So meaning we have going to separate page 1 and 2 from the rest of the pages. And then I go to the header of page 3, where I want to start the numbering from. I go to the header, and then I remove link to previous. Then I go to the footer of the same page. Then I remove link to previous. So in other words, both the footer and then the header, you must remove link to previous to separate it from the other section. Remember, we don't want to touch page 1 and 2. We want to start from page 3. So the header of page 3, we must delink link to previous. And then here also the footer with the link to previous. Then after that, you will see here footer section 2. If you go to this page, you see footer section 1. So meaning we have separated this page from this section. And then we can comfortably insert our page number. So I go to insert or page header and footer, page numbers, bottom. Then I can choose the page number that I want. But here it gives me 2. But then there's no problem. Here also gives me 1. But if I go to this page here, footer section 1, there's no page number. So meaning the page number is starting from this page as 1 and here as 2. All that you need to do is you must remove the link to previous after you have inserted continuous page break. So that is how we solve that type of questions. Right, the next question also talks about locate the heading, why is driving at night is so dangerous, and how can we make driving at night safe? Ensure that these appears as level 2 in the table of content and update the table of content. So there are 3 headings. Why is driving at night so dangerous? How can we make driving at night safer? And driver fitness vision must all be in heading 2. So this one, the headings are driver fitness vision. You select, and then the style will make it heading 2. And then how can we make the driving safer? Also heading 2. And this one also, we change it from heading 1 to heading 2. Then we can go to table of content. How do we adjust them? You right click and choose update field, update entire table, and OK, so that the table will be updated automatically. The next question 2.5, locate the text in columns under the heading driver fitness. And then we must make the changes to the column. The page, the space between them must be 1 centimeter, and we should add a border around the text to appear as shown below. So there's a border around it, and then it should be 1 centimeter. Now, the column is already there. So we need to change it. Now, where do we find columns? You get it from layout, or you can go to search and type column. You see add or remove column, then you go to more columns. So it's already inserted. And then they can ask you to put a line between. Now they say the space should be 1 centimeter. Then you say you are applying to the selected text. So this is the text. And then okay. So this is the first part. And then now we need to put a border. Where do we get borders from? You can go to borders and shading, or you can also use the ruler settings. You can go to ruler settings, layout, and then you will see borders. Then you can choose border, not a page border. So a border should be around it. They did not specify the type of border. So it should be around the text that you have selected, or the paragraph, if you choose them as paragraph. Now, we can also have options here for borders and shading. They can tell you the border from the top and different side. So watch out for that type of question. Now here, it gives us this. It gives us this kind of problem. Sometimes you can have a border. Now it gives you this type of problems, whereby instead of it to be one border around it, because the question is a border, so you can also place them as what do you call it, a text board. They should be in a text board, and you place them as that type. Or alternatively, they can give you options whereby you put it as a text column. So let's go back to columns. Now, so we chose 1 centimeter with an equal width. So selected text. And then when you go to borders and shading, now it's giving them as different paragraphs. It's giving them a different, but now when you choose text also, it select the entire text. So that's where you normally get the problem. So when you get a question with a screenshot, you can place, if it's giving different paragraphs, going to give, you can place a text box, then you put them inside. Or what you do is you make them as one, like a paragraph, that you place them also. So here they say add a border around the text to appear as follows. They did not specify whether it's going to be a text box. So whenever you are having such problem, you need to check the type of border that you put them, because if it is a text, it's going to give you a problem. If it's going to be a paragraph, then the options, you must check that they are all the same, and then you place it properly. Otherwise, it's always going to give you this problem. Let me go back and change it to paragraph. I'm going to undo them. Yeah. So you can see that some of them are overlapping. Like this one is showing as different paragraphs. You can see when you press enter, it goes to different side. So it's better you put them as a text box, and then you put the whole thing inside, because the borders will give you a problem, because there are so many paragraphs that are placed in here. So you can put them as a text box, then you put the whole text around them, and then you'll be able to have the shape that the question wants you to do. So you can place a text box around it. And then you choose the text box should be behind with the layout. So it should be behind the text. Whenever you have something of this nature, you can just put a text box. Now the same, this one looks like, but you can change the PT, the weight. If the question wants you to change the weight to maybe 3 PT or whatever PT they want to, you can easily put them like that. So basically, when they give you a screenshot, they will say a border, but then now, if the paragraph is not properly done, it's going to give you problem like that. So you need to put a text box what you do is you place a text box and then you make it behind. Just go to insert this shape text box, draw the text box around it. Now, you see it covers your text. So when you select, check the option here, the layout option, and then choose behind text so that the text box will be behind the text. Then you can go to shape format and change the outline to any weight. If the question says 3pt or 2pt, now you can have this as you see in the screenshot like that, right? So basically, when you want to put a border and you have different paragraphs, it's going to give you problem, especially when it is column. So you need to place a text box around it if they give you that type of question like this one, because this question here says, as you can see on the screen. So basically, they put a text box around this and then they make it to be thick. Right, locate the image above it, add automatic caption of the image, and then the number of caption must not appear. So we are going to also look at images, how to insert caption. You right click, you see insert caption. Now, the captions, we have different labels. We have equation, we also have figure, and then we have table. Now, if you don't have a particular label here, you can add a new label. Let's say new label. And then if maybe you were dealing with formulas, you can just say, so that will be part of it. So you can add more label. If you don't want a specific label, you can delete it. Then also, whether below or above, you choose based on the question. And then the numbering style. So if you want to include it or you want to exclude the numbers, include chapter number, you can do that also by going to the numbering style. They can even ask you to choose ABC or a specific numbering style. Now, if you want to exclude the label from the caption, you take this one to exclude the label if you don't want the formula and others. Now, most at times you see a question that says auto caption. This is not auto caption. Please take note, it is not auto caption. So when it's automatic caption, you still use the same process, insert caption, and then you choose the label, whatever that you want to do. If you want to exclude, then you choose that one. Then you type the name of the picture. Let's say image 1. And then okay. So that the caption will be there. Right. Then the next question says, find the word pedestrians shaded with green in the text under the heading techniques for sharing the road safety. Add a cross-reference. So we are going to add a cross-reference. A cross-reference is just like a link to an image or to a table or to anything that you want to have it in your document. Now the question says we must add a cross-reference to the text pedestrians. Let's look for that text. So I must look for the text. It says must look for the word pedestrians. Let me check what paragraph is it, where we must add with a green, shaded in green, in the text under the heading techniques for sharing. So let's look for techniques for sharing. Yeah, here is it. pedestrians, which is green shaded. Here is it. So we are going to add a cross-reference to this. Now to insert cross-reference, you will get it also under the references. So you go to references and then you will find cross-reference. Now, the cross-reference, like I said, it can be reference to numbered list or heading, or it can be reference to bookmark, or it can be reference to footnote or endnote, equation, figure. So here we are linking it to image, so it's a figure. So to image 1, whether you want it to be the entire caption or only the label and number, or only the caption text or the page number, or below or above. So this one, this reference type, the question will always specify. Now, let's check whether this question specifies whether it should be entire caption or not. Now, if we check here, it did not specify whether it should be the entire one, just to add the cross-reference. Okay, it says to the entire caption, yes. It says to the entire caption. So we are cross-referencing to the entire caption. So we chose the right one. Now, locate the table below and apply a grade table for accent 2 table style. Change the weight of the table to 50%. Now the table is given to us. And now we need to change the table. When you click inside the table, you will see table design and table layout. Now, with a table, you must watch out for certain properties of a table. Under the table layout, you will see you can sort them. You can sort a table, whether column 1, ascending or descending. And then you can also convert to text, repeat header row, do calculations using a formula, and then the cell margins as well as changing the text directions. So whenever you are solving table questions, make use of the table design and table layout, and you are going to get all the required auto fit, also auto fit to content or auto fit to window. Then we also have cell margin, which says allow to, let's say, a specific percentage or a specific space, let's say 1 centimeter. This is the cell margin, right? Then we also have the splitting cells, splitting table, insert column above and below. Then the grid lines and then the properties. If they ask you to center them vertically and horizontally, we choose the alignment. This is vertically and horizontally. Again, the properties, they can ask you to center the entire table. You choose center. They can also ask you to the size, a specific height, whether 100% or a specific percentage. And then they can also ask you text wrapping. Watch out for that. Then the row, they can ask you question also about specific row height, and then the column, and then the cell, as well as the alternative text. You can find it under the properties. So please watch out for that. Then the table design. We have the table style options. Like this question is asking us to change something under the table style. It says apply a grade table style. So this is the table style. You go there, there are so many tables that grade, and they gave a specific name. So you choose the particular name. According to the question, table 4 accent 2 table style. So you go there and then you look for it. This is table 2. And they have been numbered 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is table 4. And then you look for accent 2. This is the one. Then you apply it. So basically, you must watch out for the table design and table layout. Then how to shade, how to use the pen color and others. Then how to do calculations. If the question is asking to do calculations, like this one, you go to table layout. a formula, and then you can just choose maybe count above. So we are counting them. We can have some above and then others. So table, we use the above, below, or left for our calculations. Right. Now let's move straight to the next question, bibliography. Find the heading bibliography at the last page and insert automatic bibliography below the heading. Now, we are going to insert bibliography here. We can find it under references. Then you see bibliography and then automatic so that the list will be there. Sometimes they can ask you to choose a specific style, whether APA or Chicago or Harvard style. So you will select it before you insert the bibliography. Then the last question, it says we must insert the table of figures. We should not display the labels. So to insert table of figures, we do so by, just like table of content, you get it from references, table of figures, and then they will tell you to choose the leader or not, and then the style, whether distinctive or format. And it says it should not include a label. You must remove this. Sometimes they can ask you to not use hyperlink. You can also do that, and then okay. Right. So that's how we insert table of figures and then the table of content also as well. Now that's all about question 2 for Limpopo. Now let's check another Microsoft Word question, still under Limpopo question paper, and it's mostly under question 7. Now question 7, you see Microsoft Word. Here they wanted you to use to change the password. And then the rest are spreadsheet. Yes, there's mail merge question. There's mail merge question here that we need to do. Create a mail merge as follows. Link the donor table in the 7 donor web database as the data source for the 7 set mail merge. So the document is 7 certificate mail merge. We have to open it. Now this is the document. Now they say we must link it. To link it, we go to mailings. And then whenever you are dealing with mail merge, you start with start mail merge. Unless otherwise stated, we always choose letters. And then you go to select recipient, use existing list. So then you go and select your list. So according to the question, we must use the list called, let me check the list. 7 donors database. Use existing list, and then we select 7 donors database, this one. Now, after selecting it, the next step is to edit recipient list. Now, to edit recipient list, that's where they can ask you to filter or to sort the data. Now, let's check the question again. It says, edit the recipient list to include only data of those donors who donated 2 liters of blood. So here we need to edit the recipient list. And then we are going to show those who chose 2 liters of blood. So we go to letters. And then remember we are going to pick only this one. So we need to only filter. We go to filter. And then the field is, you must always be careful which field are you picking, which is the letters donated equals to 2. Remember, just like the other queries, we have equals to, we have not equals to, we have less than, greater, and others. Now, they can give you 2 options. So we have and or all. You can choose them also when they give you other options. But here, they didn't ask anything, so we leave it and click OK. So to show only 2. Then, after the edit recipient list, the next one is to go to use or insert merge field. Now, when we talk about insert merge field, that's wherever you see this less than, greater than, it is a field that needs to be replaced. So here you select insert merge field, and then you choose name. Again, you select this one, insert merge field, and then you choose send name. As soon as you have inserted the merge field, please save your mail merge. The file, you must save it. The moment you have inserted this one, you must save it. Then after that, you go straight to finish and merge, and then you choose edit recipient list. Then you click on OK. Now, here we have two documents here. We have the first one that says 7 set, and we get additional one that will always be by default letter 1, which needs to be saved as well. So this is the letter that will be sent to individual list, like Daniel, Elliot, and others, to be sent to individual list. So this is the one that you must save it again. File, save as, and then you save it with the given name that the question is requesting you to. Now this question is to complete the merge and save it as 7N set. So this second document, you need to save it inside your folder. In many cases, learners forget and they don't save it inside their folder. So take note of that. Right. So this is all about mail merge. Now let's check another question from Prep 2022. And then look for another option. So basically Microsoft Word will be question 1, 2, and then question 7. Now I'll pick another question paper from 2022. I'm going to choose, let's say, Free State question paper. Right, Microsoft Word, which is one member newsletter. Now, let me go through them one by one. Locate the heading table of content and change it to appear as follows. Now you can see this table of content, the levels. The first one, message from the PO, is level 1, or maybe it could be heading 1. And then these two are on the same level. So we have to check whether they are on the same level, and those are the only one that should be displayed. So whenever you have a screenshot of table of content, this question wants us to show only the letter from PO, and then the pure health, and then the stop incorrect dental claims. So we want only this one and that, and then the message from the PO at the level 1. So this is the message from PO. So before you can apply the table of content on properly, you must check your style. Now let's check message from PO. Which style did they use? They use the title style. And then we go straight to the next one. Other headings like the pure health, they use heading 2. So meaning that we need only the title style and heading 2. According to the screenshot, we need only the title style for the message form, the PO, and this is the heading 2. Now we need to change the table of content. We go back to table of content, then we need to change it. We need to modify it. And how do we modify it? From the references, insert table of content custom. Now, they said 3 levels, but according to the question, it's only 2 levels. The first level is title style, which is message from the PO. And then the second level is pure health and stop incorrect, which is heading 2. So there are 2 levels, title level and then heading 2. So we need to make changes to that. Instead of levels to be 2, 3, we make it 2. And then we go to the options. Then we need heading 2. but we don't need heading 1 because there's nothing that is using heading 1 according to the question. So we need to delete the TOC levels for level 1. We need to remove it. And then we go and look for the title style. And then we put level 1. So we see the title and heading 2 only. And then okay. There we go. So first of all, when you see a screenshot of that nature, study which heading style did they apply, and then you go and then you modify your table of content. Right. Now we move straight to the next question. It says locate the highlighted heading, dear valued members, and add a hyperlink to this website. So to add a hyperlink, we must add hyperlink to this. So you select, right click and choose link or hyperlink. Now, hyperlink, we can add it to the website. According to the question, the website should be enquiries at ph.co.za. Now, we can add hyperlink to also a bookmark. Let's say we are adding to a bookmark. Place in the document, then you choose the particular bookmark you want to add, any heading or a bookmark. So we can add it to a specific heading style that is placed in the document. We can also add hyperlink to email address, but this one, the question says to a web page. So we take or we click on existing file or web page, and then we type the web page. They can also ask you to add a screen tip message. So make sure you do that. And then, okay. So when you put the mouse pointer here, you see the screen tip, and you can also hyperlink there. Right. Now we move to the next question. Like this question says, the text COVID-19 must display as a screen tip. So here we are supposed to add COVID-19, so we can edit it. Screen tip, we type COVID-19. So that's all about hyperlink. So if you place the mouse pointer, you will see COVID-19. The next one is talking about drop cap. And in most cases, they ask drop cap questions. Drop cap, always, if they give you a screenshot, check how many lines have been dropped. So you can see here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines dropped. And then they say the distance from the text should be 0.5 centimeters. So we need to change this one to drop cap. So we click there, we go to insert, drop cap, and then we choose drop cap options. Like I told you, you can also use the search and type drop cap. Then you see add drop cap, and then you see drop cap options. Drop, the number of lines should be 6, and then the centimeter should be 0.5. So this is basically what the question requires us to do. Right. The next question, apply automatic hyphenation to the document. Like I said, you see the questions keep on repeating. Automatic hyphenation. How do we do that? You just go to hyphenation, which you can do that, and choose automatic. Or alternatively, you go to layout, you will see hyphenation option, and you put automatic. So that's how we change the hyphenation. The next question says, find the text COVID-19. Oh no, change the style of the page number on page 2 to thick line style. On page 2 to 4. So this is page. So we check the page numbers. Here's page 1, which has first page, and here header section. This is page 2, so we might change it. How do we change it? When you double click on the footer section, it's going to give you header and footer and then the page number. So you go to format. Anytime you want to change the style or change anything, the numbering format, you can do it here. Now the style, because it's at the bottom, you can change it to thick lines according to the question. Right. Then you leave the footer and header. You double click on your document, then you will leave the footer and header section. The next question, find the text starting with COVID-19 has plunged and then ending with the COVID-19. Create and apply a multi-level list as you see. Now we have multi-level list like this. The first one should be one bullet image, and then the second one should be Roman numbers. So we have to look for that list, and then we change it to multi-level list. We select them. Let's check, yes, up to the show, right? And then how do we change it to multi-level list? From the paragraph settings, you see multi-level list, or alternatively, you can type multi-level list and choose define new multi-level list. Now the first list, the first level, they say it's a bullet, which is an image. So you click on the first level, then you see number style for this level. You scroll down and look for bullet, new picture, because we are using a picture. If you are using a new bullet, which is a symbol, you can choose it here. So new picture, and we select our image. We select our image, one bullet. Then you go to the second level. The second level, the number style for this one, you choose Roman numbers, the small ones. Now you must always check whether there's no bracket. Here there's no bracket, so we leave it as it is. If there's bracket, you must do it here under the enter formatting for number. If there's bracket, you do it there and put your bracket, whether it should be before and after. They can also ask you to change the position. So you change the position from here and then you click OK. Now, the moment you do it, it will pick by default the first level. So you must now use the tab stop to change it to the second level. Now, which one should be the second level? Only the show. So this one should be the second level. You click before it and then you press the tab key. If, let's say, you accidentally made a mistake to the third level, you can come back and use what we call decrease indent, then to come back to the second level. Increase indent will go to the next level. Decrease indent, go back to the previous level. So basically, this is what the question wanted us to do. Right, the next question is talking about the a paragraph on page 7 that we must change the font to area narrow, change it to case, sentence case, and others. Now, we must remove the soft enter and then correct the spacing error and then replace the green shading with a yellow shading for 3 marks. So let's look for the page 7 and then we adjust that paragraph. I think it's this one on page 7. Yeah, this is the one. So you select it. First of all, it says you might change the case. Case is part of font. So we can go to font group and say area narrow. You can type. And then you have the right font. Then it says you might change the case to sentence case. Still under the font group, you see change case, capital A, small k, A, and then you see change case, sentence case, rather. And again, the question says we should set the multiple spacing by 1.15, which is under the paragraph group. You go to paragraph, and then you see the spacing should be multiple by 1.15. Then they can even ask you to also change the spacing before and after. They can ask you that. And then again, they can also ask you for the line break. Maybe it should be together, all of them to be together. You choose keep lines together. They can equally ask you to change the indentation, whether hanging or that. Right. Let's check the next question. Remove the soft enter and correct the spacing. And then the shading should be changed from green to yellow. So there we go to borders and shading. And then the shading should be yellow shading. Then we must remove the soft enter. We can see soft enter here, but then you will not be able to identify unless you click on show or hide. So when you click on show or hide, you will see the soft enter. This is what we call soft enter. Now, how do I remove the soft enter? This is it. So you select it, you click here, and then you press delete. The soft enter will be deleted. This one, you click before it and press the delete key. You click and then you press the delete key. Right. So basically, we are removing the soft enters. You will see the numbers, and you cannot see it only when you can only see it only when you activate the show or hide. Otherwise, you are not going to see the soft enter. Right. The next question says we must correct the spacing error. So check if there's any spacing error. Yeah, this is the spacing error also. You can find that one only when you have activated the show or hide. If it's not there, you won't see any spacing error. Now you can see spacing error. Every space has this dot, this rectangular one, or it's a square. So you can see here, this one has 3 spaces or 4 spaces. So we must delete 3 of the spaces so that we have only 1. That's the only spacing error, but you can check other ones. Here I can see 2 spaces here. Right, so you can only do the spacing error and soft enter after you have activated the show or hide. Now let's move to the next question with an image. Find the image and then we change this. I like this question because it covers all sorts of questions and then challenging questions as well. So the image was given to us here. And then with the image, they asked us to modify the image. Here's the image. Now, first of all, we must change the artistic effect to photocopy and then change the layout position. Now, let's check the first one, the artistic position. When you select any image, it's going to give you the picture format. Now, the picture format, we have the background remover, we have the correction, we have the color, and then we have the artistic effect. Now, the question says we must choose the artistic effect to, let's check the question again, photocopy. So, artistic effect, we change to photocopy. Each of them has a name. So, one marker, pencil, gray. So, you have to look for the right one. I think photocopy might be somewhere here. You must always choose the right one. If you don't have it, especially some of these new, sometimes they will set a question and then they'll use the lower version and you don't find it. But then here 365, I don't see photocopy here. But I think maybe the lower version you will find it. I don't see it here. There's no artistic effect called photocopy. It's not there. Even when you go to more options, it's not there. So let me choose one of them, like marker. Good. And then also, they say the position of the layout, more layout options, depending on where you want to place it, whether in line with the text. So let's check the question about the position. The position should be the horizontal, that's absolute, should be 8 centimeters, and then the vertical absolute should be 1 centimeter from paragraph to the right. So we go to the position and then we change that. Now, when you go to the position, you go to more layout options, then you change the position. You can do that from the horizontal, they say from left, absolute 8 centimeters horizontal to the right of the outside margins. So here should be right of the margins, and then the margins should be outside margins. You have to choose the right one. Then also the absolute position should be 8 centimeters. Right to outside margin. So it should be absolute. You must be careful which one that you choose, the horizontal one, whether alignment, the book layout, the relative position, or the absolute position under the layout option. Now the vertical also, they said it should be absolute, 1 centimeter below paragraph. Below paragraph. So you can get that one under layout options. Then we have also text wrapping. Instead of them to say tight square behind, they can give you the distance also for you to choose from. And then the size of the image also, they can give you a question like that. So basically they ask us to do this. Now this is where we get a position. Then again, alternative text to the picture. The title should be dental, and then the description should be our quotes on the claim, correct? So alternative text, when you select the image, the alt text, you get it under the alt text from the picture format. Then you type it. The question says the title. We should type what we call the dental. And then here we create our description. The details should be the claims, correct? And then you close it. So anytime we are marking that we go to alternative text, we will see those messages there. Right. Now, we also have other questions like for the images, they can ask you to put a picture border with a border around it and then the weight. They can ask you to also change the picture effect, preset, shadow, and others. And then they can also ask you the picture style. They can also ask you to do the rotation, flip vertical, and then crop to shape. They can ask you to crop it to a specific shape as well. So basically, images, when you are manipulating it and then you go to picture format, look out for some of these things. They can ask you, and every question paper, there's image question as well. Right, now we move straight to the next question that talks about table. It says find a table on the page 9 and do the following. Add a new row above the table, insert the code, and change all the heading horizontally, vertically. Change the width of the outer frame to 3pt, and then the style for the dotted lines inner. So let's check this table, and then we do a form. Then basically we have covered almost all the topics regarding Microsoft Word. Now, 1.9, so we say we must find a table. So this is the table given to us. So the first question says we must add a new row above the heading and merge. So this is the heading. How do we add a new row? You go to table layout. You are adding a row above. So row above, and then we merge it. Then it says we must type the text code, and then the size should be 26pt. So we type code, and then the size should be 26pt. We will get it from the font group, and then we change the size to 26. Right, and then we should center it vertically and horizontally. We go to table layout. We see center vertically and horizontally. And then also, it's all the headings. So all the headings, you must center it vertically and horizontally. And change the width of the outer frame to 3pt. So the outside one, you select the table. From the table design, you choose 3pt. And then you choose the border outer. That's the outside border. So that outside border will be 3pt. Sometimes they can ask you to choose the color as well, the pen color for the outside border. Right. And then they said the inner one should be dotted lines. The inner one should be dotted lines. So you select the table once more, then you choose the dotted lines, and then you choose it. Then you go to the borders and choose inner or inside borders. So this is how we choose the table borders. Choose the lines first, and then you go to the borders. Right. Then shade the left column to light green of your choice. So this is the left column. You say you might shade it, so you select shading from table design to any color of our choice. Then copy all the data of the cleaning and filling from this table into a new document, and then we save it as one code. Do not forget the heading. So we select from cleaning and filling, or for only cleaning, you select this. Then you hold down the control key, and then you select the fillings so that you don't select all of them. You right click and choose copy to a new document. So you open a new document, file, new, and then we paste it. So we are going to paste it. When you paste, you see it's giving this. So you must check the right pasting that you are going to put, or you choose paste special from Microsoft Word document. Now it gives you this. It should be table. Let's check whether the question is asking for table. So all the data, okay, it says all the data from it, and then into a new document, table format. Okay, that's good. Now it says it should be table format. So we copy again. Now when you are pasting, it should be table format. Now look at the paste options that you have there. Keep source formatting, but it still gives you this one should have been keep format. And then when you go to paste special and the Microsoft Word format that you are going to choose. Now Word object or formatted text, RTF will not give you, and formatted picture and HTML format. So this one should have been giving you the right, but it's giving you this. Then you can convert it. If it doesn't give you that option, you can convert it to a table by going to insert, converting text to table. Now, this is where the problem comes, 17 pages. So you must choose, it's not a paragraph if it's not text. And then whatever that is separating it, then this is just 2 columns. So you can 2 columns. Now it picks different one. You cannot choose the author because it's not going to give you the right one. So this type of question, say you might just copy and paste. Or do not forget the headings. Sorry about that. The heading should have been there. The heading should have been there. So let's copy again. We are copying the headings. And then you press Control, you select the cleaning, and then the fillings as well. Then you copy it. Now, when you come to this part, the new document, pasting, keep source formatting must give you the right one. Because if it doesn't give you, it's going to create a problem for us unless we have a new table. Or alternatively, you can just copy the table and then you paste the table and then you clear off you copy the table if it's not giving you, and then when you paste the table, we don't need certain parts. We need only cleaning. So we can clear off this. So that we have only this part. That headings and cleaning and filling. You can also do that and then you delete the rows that are not needed. But this was supposed to give us when you are pasting, the pasting options. I don't have it. Maybe the other options you have it because the moment you choose keep source formatting was supposed to give us the right one. Right, now let's move on to the next part. Then we save it as one code. Now the forms. When we are talking about forms, we need to also talk about the calculations and all sort of things that you must also look out for. Now here it says you must format the field name to uppercase and maximum length of 10. So we look for the form. So we are formatting the name. You double click. If it's not there, you go to developer and you go to properties. You must activate this. Or the easier one is to double click. It gives you. Now the question says the name should be uppercase with a maximum length of 10. So you click on the first arrow, then you type 10. And then the text format should be uppercase and okay. Then the second question says, choose an appropriate data type for the text form field ID number, maximum length of 13. So ID number should be number. And then the maximum length should be 13. Then again, the question says we must add a help text. That is numbers only, no spaces. So you go to help text. Then for F1, we type numbers only, no spaces. And you click OK. And then the next question says, edit the drop down for the options schemes as follows, and we must add the Tanzanite as an option, and it should be the first one. So we are going to edit this part and add Tanzanite as the options. different schemes. We have to look for different schemes. We have the name options. Yeah, different. We double click and we type Tanzanite. Then you press enter. It will be there. Now it should be the first option. So we use the arrow to move it to the first option. And then we click OK. Now the calculations, we must insert calculated field to the calculations for the normal fee per options multiplied by the co-payment. So we go to calculations. Now, before you do the calculations, we are going to multiply the normal fee options by the co-payment. Now, before we can do that, we need to check the bookmark for each. So when you double click, look for the bookmark. So the bookmark for the co-payment, the number options is text 8. And then the bookmark for co-payment is text 9. So here we use the bookmark name to do the calculations. We go to calculation, you double click, and then instead of number, we choose calculations. Then we type the formula there, text 8 times text 9. Text 8 times text 9. And then we click OK. Sometimes they will say calculate on exit. So it gives us 0. If I double click and type any value here for co-payment, let's say 5, and I double click here and press OK, it's going to do the calculations for me. It's going to multiply 250 by 5, and then the answer will be here. Right. And then also the check boxes. Whenever you are dealing with check box, you double click. These are check boxes. We can have check or not, no check, and we can have the exact size. We can increase the size as well. So the question can tell you to have check boxes. Right. And you can insert other ones. Maybe sometimes they don't want you to edit it. You go to developer, you see legacy tool, then we have all the forms here. Text box, check box. We have also the drop down, and then we also have frame and shading. We have all of them under that. Right. Now that is all about form that you must take note. Then add the source displayed at the end of the document to the other document also. So the source displayed at the end of the document, we must add it. Now, how do we add it? This is the source. It says adapted from. So you can copy the source, adapted from this. And how do we add a source to our document? Just go to search and you type the source manager. Then you click on new. Then you check what type of a source is that. We can just paste them in order not for you to delay. You paste them. So this is a website. So you put a URL there. And then you check the year as well. So basically, you must always check them. The year is 2021. Then you put them there. And then the URL is also there. So you can just start with this one. You copy source manager, new. It's a website. So you put your URL, and testing on us will be the name of the web page. Then you come and copy the date as well, or the author. You go to source again. Now we are going to edit it. So we put the author here. And the year was 2021. And then 2021, January also. So always you must check it properly. That's the last updated. Yeah, this says last updated. So you must go for last updated and then you do that. The last updated, you must go there and choose. If you don't find, you can click on show all fields. Then you will see the year accessed. The updated is mostly the date that you access it. Then you fill all the information, then you click OK. So that's how we add a source to a document. Now, the bibliography, once you have the source, you can easily add the bibliography. So we can add our bibliography here. There's no source, so you can update it. You right click and choose update field, then that source will be there. And insert a field next to the date created to display the date this document was created. So the date it was created. And the question says should be a field. So you search for field. And then you choose date created. Create date. Now the create date had the field options. They will give you the option that you need to choose. And then if you want a specific date to it, and then the field option, also the calendar that you want to choose, the question will always tell you to choose the right one. Right, so this is the date created, which will be there. Now, whenever you have a field and then you want to update, you can easily update them. You can edit the field as well. If there's a mistake, you can just go back and then check how to format it. Or you can alternatively just look for the code. If you want to show the format of it, you can just look for the code, create date with a particular format as well. Right, if you don't need, that's why we normally check when we are marking educators. If you want to check easily, you can click on that one or just click on this field code so that it will show you whether the learner typed the date or the learner inserted it properly. Now, the next question says, remove the last blank page. I mean, to remove a blank page, the blank page was there. Remove it, you use the delete key or backspace to just remove it. Now, when you are here and it doesn't want to use delete key, so the last page is removed. You click here and then you can press the delete keys until the last page is gone. Right, you hold down the delete key and it will delete the last page for you. So basically, this is all about Microsoft, whether you must take note how to do all these questions. And then we also have track changes. Don't forget the new comment. They can ask you to insert a comment. Then you go and insert the comment and track changes. You choose all markup. Then you can now check whether you want to remove the track changes for everyone or even just yours, or accept or reject it. They can give you that question to do the track changes. And then when it comes to view, they don't normally ask questions on view. So view, you don't get questions from there. Only review. Mailings, they will ask mail match. Referencing, we have talked about the table of content, footnote, endnote, citations, bibliography, and the index. They can also ask you to insert an index. When you talk about index, we have to do what we call mark entry. Mark entry, that you type the entry, they will tell you what should be the entry, maybe computer applications technology. Now, it can be to the current page or and then you click OK, mark. Now, when you mark index, you will see it this way. Now, the list of the mark entries is what we call the index. So if you want to add the index, you go and insert it from referencing and you choose insert index. They will ask you whether you want to choose a specific format or a specific column. Then you click on OK. It's going to give you all the acronyms that you have added, and then the page number as well. So that's how the index also works. Cross-reference goes with tables and others. And so basically, this is what you need to know for grade 12. Layout, you need to know the hyphen, the breaks, the line numbers, and then the columns. Column break is also very important. The page size, the orientation. Like I said, if you want to put it to be vertically or horizontally, you must know how to place it. Let's say you want to insert something only on a specific page. I showed you that as well. And then the margins. Now, the columns. Let's say we have inserted column. We went to columns and then we put it to be 2 columns with a line between. And then we want from here to be starting on the head, the second column. You click before where you want to push to the next column, and then you go to break, and then you choose column break. So you can see can allocate is now on top. So we use what we call the column break to arrange them properly when we are dealing with columns. Watch out for such type of questions. They always ask that type of questions. Then find and replace with a symbol or image. Let's say we want to find all forms of the word dedicated, and then we replace with an image or a symbol. You first have to insert that picture. Let's say I insert that picture. Then you cut the picture. Then you go to find and replace. Find what? Let's say we are looking for the word dedicated. And then we replace with what? You go there. Then you go to special. And then you choose clipboard content. Clipboard content. And you say replace all. So the word dedicated has been replaced with this image. All forms of that will be replaced. That's how we do find and replace special with an image or a symbol. Right. So basically, this is what you should know, grade 12. I wish you all the best in your upcoming examination. How to change a style and the paragraph spacing and borders. You must know how to change a theme. If you don't know it, what you need to do is you go to the search. You are allowed to do it in examination, and then you type the keyword. It will take you there. Right. Thank you for your time. Tomorrow, the same time from 6, we are going to do spreadsheet, and we'll try to cover our spreadsheet, what you should know to revise. And then on Sunday, we will do database and HTML. Thank you for your special time.